Right here behind me is the Woonasquatucket River. You know, just like life, this water flows and it never stops until it gets to the end. You can see that it's never the same from moment after moment. It just continues to flow down just like life does, and Buddhism's called this impermanence. Life is always flowing from one event to the next and nothing is ever the same. So yeah, I wasn't gonna film this hike initially. I just finished Peter Randall State Park in North Providence, but I'm here now at the Esmond Park conservation area, which has been covered already. But I'm gonna go on a little solo walk from this park up to Georgiaville Pond and just enjoy the rest of the afternoon in the sun here before the thunderstorms come. I wanted to talk a bit about life's changes and impermanence, and hopefully if anyone out there is going through any kind of struggles in life, what we discussed today will help. I'll see you soon. So right here you can see this beautiful man-made waterfall on the river, and yeah, just like we had explained earlier, life flows just like the river, and if you try to go up that stream and fight it where it's trying to bring you, you're never going to make it. But the only way to find peace is to really surrender yourself and flow with the river. You know, I've been going through a lot of changes in my life the last 2 months. It's completely changed. So at first I was trying to really fight it, but you know, you can't fight it. This is the situation, the reality that you're in. And anybody who's ever gone through any kind of a loss, whether it's a breakup, you know, a passing of a loved one, you know, legal trouble, health problems, you probably have a lot of thoughts of guilt and regret. You know, I did for a bit. But the thing is that you have to realize, and I went to a sound bath recently actually. Shout out to A Touch of Magic up in Uxbridge, Massachusetts. They held a sound bath event and I went there for the first time recently, and it was wonderful. Kind of like a meditation. They had like some, you know, wave sounds playing through drums and a lot of those crystal bowls that resonate at certain frequencies. So when I was in the hypnosis during the sound bath, basically, I had a thought come to my mind, and it said that you are not your mistakes, but what you make of them is, and then I kind of cut off. I can't remember much, but I think that what I was trying to say was what you make of them can be your legacy. So if you made a mistake in the past, yeah, it sucks, you feel guilty, but it's the power that you give yourself to overcome that and learn from it that makes you who you are. What really helps me is these hikes. That's why I'm such a huge fan of going outdoors, even when it's really buggy like this. But I love these trails, especially Smithfield has some amazing trails, and for me, it doesn't require any real length of time to get to them. I can pretty much just walk out of my living quarters and hop right on these trails, and they all connect. As I stated earlier, we're going to take this trail all the way up to Georgiaville Pond. This is part of the old railroad track, and this was the Woonasquatucket Railroad from the I believe it was built in the 1800s during the first industrial age. These trails used to have the train tracks on them, and they would bring the goods to and from the mills, which we'll walk by where there was an old mill. The Georgia cotton mill is just to the right, or the remains of it are just to the right of one of these trails. But yeah, that's another example too. The mills that were in this town ran Smithfield, Rhode Island for over 100 years, and eventually technology changed, and just like the farms before the mills, the farming villages went out of business because they couldn't keep up with the industrial age. And then when computers came out, you know, these mill towns ended up losing all their industry. You know, they're all turned into hiking trails, which I'm happy about. So right here is like a Goodwill box. They call it a blessing box. This is for anybody who might need food or any kind of items. I've seen books in there before too. You know, there are a lot of homeless people, unfortunately, and I have seen them in the park before, trying to make it by. So it's nice that somebody thought of a way to help them, at least get some food for the night. So let's keep moving. So to get to the other part of this trail, we got to cross the street, and then we're going to hit up the Woonasquatucket Railroad again. So believe it or not, guys, even after all the crazy hikes I did earlier this year, like going up to Bangor, Maine, and going to Mount Wachusett, Mount Monadnock, the Woonasquatucket Railroad trails are still some of my favorite hiking trails ever. There's so much history behind them. It's so cool that they used to have trains running on them 100 or so years ago, and the fact that they cross through so many old abandoned mills. You know, we do the Georgia cotton mill, then we go to the old ice houses up at Georgiaville Pond. There's Capron Mill, Stillwater Mill. The history behind these trails, you can see right here, there's the other entrance. But the history behind these trails makes them really cool, even though they're not very, I guess, like, well hiked. There's some parts of them that are. The Stillwater Scenic Trail is part of this trail system, and that is a very popular hiking place in Smithfield. And then Georgiaville Pond, of course, is very popular, but not so much for hiking, more for the water sports and beach. And then this does connect to Olivia's forest also, which I think I might want to go in there and see. There were some trails that I missed last time I was there. I saw on the map there's like a yellow trail system near the stream. So, you know, we're going on a walk today. I got really nothing else big happening, and I might as well just go and check it out, right? So yeah, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this trail system and I'm going to go down the road past Higgins Street, where the old Vernon Mills were, now known as the Homestead Mills. And I am going to do a little portion of Olivia's forest, if not just do a loop around the whole thing, because I want to see if I can find those hidden trails that I missed. I think it's a yellow trail system, and I'm not sure how far deep it goes, but I know I haven't seen it. So let's see what's up there. As we continue on this Woonasquatucket Railroad path, to our right will be the remains, or the foundation, really, of the old Georgia cotton mill. That's where the name Georgiaville came from, apparently, but there was a mill over here that would specialize in cotton. Oh, we got some music. Yeah, so as explained, there is going to be a part to the right where the old mill was, and it was a textile mill that would specialize in, I guess, cotton products. So they must have shipped up the cotton from south. You can see the little elevation part over here, and this was still all train track. So if we were here back in the 1800s, and I believe maybe even as recent as 100 years ago, there would still be a train running through here. You're really going to be able to see the elevation on either side as we move forward. So another interesting Buddhist teaching as I'm walking down these old railroad tracks is the concept of non-attachment. You know, these tracks, you can see behind me, you know, they were once filled with trains and materials and people bringing everything to and from the mills. But yeah, nowadays they're just trails. So like the impermanence, it's a reminder everything changes. I mean, you can see there's still some, looks like junk down here from the old railroad days. There's this big gully. You know, we can also think about the concept of just moving forward, how behind me, you know, is the rest of that trail over there, and I had to take every step I did to get to where I'm at now. The pass is already written. I'm not going to go back there, but what lies ahead of me is a lot more track. So the story's not over yet. You know, you can also think about the concept of mindfulness, being here out on this, it's a Sunday today. You can see the sun piercing through the trees, and you can see the amazing track. You can really tell that it was a railroad with the two sides sloping down like that. But yeah, when you're here, you don't need to think about the past and what used to be. You can just think about this that we're walking through right now. And the old mill actually was over there. That was where the Georgia cotton mill was. That's the foundation, and that power line would bring the power to the mill as well. If you look at earlier images on Google Maps or Google Earth, you can see where the mill used to be. And yeah, it's taken down now. You can imagine the people that slaved basically working in those mills. Injuries, fights, emotions, and ultimately it was just taken down and is now just overgrown. So that's really interesting to think about. We're gonna keep walking forward now. A really cool feature of this trail that was covered before is there's a little bamboo forest here. I believe that the bamboo maybe was planted as an ornament originally, and since then it's become like overgrown. So it's right near what looks like it could have been an old train stop here. I'm imagining they maybe planted the bamboo to look pretty for the people getting on and off the train, whether they were travelers or suppliers. And then yeah, it just went crazy. This is all bamboo. You can see it. And it's called yellow groove bamboo too, because there's a yellow groove that you can see right here. I think it turns yellow later in the season, but there's a groove right here on the bamboo. And it's a running bamboo, they call it, meaning the root system grows under the ground and sprouts up. So these are spreading all across the trail, actually moving further down that way, and it's eventually going to pop up on this side too. That's nature bringing it back. All right, let's keep going. I'll check out to see if I can find those trails I missed at Olivia's forest, and then we're going to take a turn and we'll end the hike at Georgiaville Pond. So this is actually a pretty cool detour I'm taking right here before I go to the forest, but you can see there is the cemetery for the Farnham family here, historic graveyard, and they were the ones who were one of the earliest families in Smithfield. So I did see that the fossil shop is actually open too. So, you know, while I'm going on this multi-trailed Smithfield hike, a little tour to Georgiaville, I might as well go check out the fossil shop and see what they have as well. All right, right now I'm in front of Apple Valley Minerals. This is a little fossil shop, so this is going to be pretty cool. They have crystals, fossils, all kinds of minerals from all around the world, and you can see there's even free rocks that you can take. See some pyrite, some quartz. Let's check out what they got inside. Welcome to Apple Valley Minerals, right here in Smithfield, Rhode Island. A hidden gem for rock hounds, collectors, and anyone curious about Earth's natural wonders. Step inside and you'll discover an incredible collection of rare minerals, fossils, and gemstones, including the famous Rhode Island Cumberlandite, the only official state rock and a true geological marvel. Whether you're hunting for that perfect piece to start your collection, or just want to soak up some serious rock history, Apple Valley Minerals has it all. Owner Louis Fazina is not just a collector, he's a storyteller, guiding you through the fascinating tales behind every stone. So come explore, learn, and maybe even take home a piece of Rhode Island's ancient past. Don't just watch the world, hold a piece of it in your hands. Apple Valley Minerals, where every rock has a story.
So this right here is the state rock of Rhode Island, known as Cumberlandite. Cumberlandite's a special stone that has high iron and titanium content, hence why the magnets stick to it.
So cool.
This particular one has been fully cut, polished, and shaped into the cubic formation. This is probably the biggest known Cumberlandite cube that exists in the world. We got a nice custom stand made for it, but this is one of our grails here at Apple Valley Minerals. We have the state rock of Rhode Island carved into a huge cube, and it is the Cumberlandite.
Was this found
cube,
near
yeah.
Diamond Hill? I know that's where a lot of it
This Cumberlandite in particular was the Sneech Pond area,
Okay.
which is an old copper mine that's very famous here
Yeah.
in Rhode Island, the Sneech Pond. The other big location for Cumberlandite is behind the Elder Ballou Cemetery.
Okay.
That's another huge Cumberlandite deposit here in the state.
Is Diamond Hill like a big place for it too? I've heard there's like a big
You can
bunch of
find it in
deposits.
Diamond Hill. Yeah, pretty much any.
Yeah.
You could walk around many places in Cumberland and just pick
Yeah.
it up off the ground. Usually Cumberlandite is known by being a solid black, smooth rock with white specks. The white specks are feldspar inclusions, plagioclase inclusions. Most Cumberlandite has the little white specks, but you'll certainly know it's Cumberlandite if the magnet sticks to it because of the high iron and titanium content.
That is so cool that you can just pick something off the ground that's magnetized like that.
Oh yeah, well it's easy to find too
Yeah.
because you could just take a magnet out into the field with you, and if the not all of it has those white specks, so if you find a black rock, magnet sticks to it, most likely Cumberlandite. So
Wow.
a woolly mammoth skull would be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But that's the woolly rhino. Don't mind the googly eye.
So right here, this is awesome. They have a woolly mammoth tooth, or a few of them actually. You can see how flat they were. They would grind all the plants they would eat. And then there's like a jaw of like some other kind of an animal. We got a bunch of fossilized sea life, starfish looking things. I'm sure Lewis could tell you more exactly what these are, but they look like starfish or ancestors of them. Ton of different crystals, gemstones. Look at that jaw. These are all found like all over the US and the world, I believe. And over here there's a carved T-Rex skull. That's cool. Out of some rock and gemstone. Some quartz crystals. Massive one right there. Awesome stuff. So that was really cool. Shout out to Lewis over at Apple Valley Minerals. So very thankful. He gave me a piece of Cumberlandite. That was the stone that we had talked about from Cumberland, Rhode Island. And then I also bought a small piece of amethyst right here as well. They call it Super 7 amethyst because it's got 7 different shades of color in it, I guess. And this kind of looks like a little witch's like wand or something. Apple Valley Minerals is located on 7 Homestead Ave, Smithfield, Rhode Island, and open every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, so that was really cool doing the Apple Valley Minerals, and right now I'm actually at Olivia's forest. As I had stated before, I want to check out these missing trails that I did not explore yet, and then we'll turn around and we'll get to Georgiaville Pond. But what we're gonna do first is check these yellow trails out. So I think it's a yellow trail. I can't quite remember the color of it on the trees. But this is actually Whipple Hill we're climbing up right now. So Olivia's forest is cool because you get like a nice little mountainous experience, even though it's not a mountain. There is a good incline. So some cool history about Olivia's forest. This was private land for a long time, up until I think like the last decade or so, and it was donated from the owners over here, and they named it after I think their granddaughter or a family member named Olivia. I used to hike these trails a long time ago, before it was known as Olivia's forest. When I was a kid, my property at the time bordered right up against this, and yeah, we have the hill up here. So back to the Buddhist teachings, I mean, this is kind of like climbing up a hill, a difficult hill of life or whatever, and when you get to the top it finally levels out, but it's a long way to the top and it's a struggle and it's not always easy. So in order to make it to the top, you gotta suffer a bit, but suffering's part of life. And once you get there, you enjoyed the view at the top, which is the day that your effort pays off, all that suffering that you did. And I'm enjoying this ascent up to the top of Whipple Hill right now, even though it's tiresome, and I've probably done about 5 miles already today with all the different trails I've hiked. I'm still going to do it because I know the reward on the top is going to be great. We're going to see the stream, and we're going to finally find those yellow trails that I was missing. All right, so we're now at the top of the park right here. This is the red trail. Whew. Man, I gotta say too, I've been hiking since about 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's getting close to 4:30 now. Started at the Peter Randall State Park in North Providence, and then we picked up at the Esmond Park Conservation Area. We got the railroad tracks. We're doing this one, and then we're gonna finish at Georgiaville. So connecting all these. Look at that. All right, so the top of the trail over here is the stream, which we were covering in an earlier video, and you can see today it's so dry. There's no water flowing. And this is another metaphor for some Buddhism right here. I mean, you can see that right now the stream is dry, but eventually it's going to flow again. So this is a low point right now for the stream, just like there's low points in life. But once the water comes back on, it's going to be like, it's going to be rebirthed, or reborn rather. So that's also very interesting. You can see this old stone wall that went right across like a bridge, and there's the newer bridge over there. And right behind me, I think, is going to be these trails that we haven't seen yet. Let's see. So I don't know if this is the trail I was looking for. It is a red trail, but I definitely have not filmed this or hiked on this in a while. So let's see if there's anything here. Yeah, I did not film this. I don't know what this is, if this is a new trail system or if this is going to lead to someone's yard. I thought the trails that I had not done yet were yellow trails, but this looked like it was still red. Look at that. It looks like tentacles or something. Let's take a look at this place, see if this goes anywhere. So yeah, I've been to Olivia's forest for a long time, but there's just these certain trails back here that I haven't fully explored. And this one looks like it's unnamed. Oh, bugs are so bad today. Oh. All right, that also is gonna go to a home. So nothing here. I got one more spot we can try out to see if there's any trails that go anywhere. And then we're gonna head to the pond, because I've been out hiking for over 3 hours now and it's been hot. All right, gonna continue down here, and there was one more path that I wanted to see. So, all right, we're gonna take this turn here. There's that beech tree. These got that parasite on them that's killing them apparently. Some kind of an invasive parasite. That looks like it's something there, but it's not very maintained. There was just one more trail system past the stream. All right, this is where I wanted to go now. So let's see what we got here. There we go. This is the other trail system that I did not hike yet, finally. The yellow trail. So let's see where this leads to. Okay. I really don't know what the deal is with this yellow trail. It's not part of the regular Olivia's Forest loop. But I'm about to find out where it goes. I bet you this is probably just going to end up leading back to another property. But we'll see. Okay, looks like it goes up here. Where's the trail marker? I'm losing the trail marker. This is a healthy looking beech tree. Ugh. All right, again, I think that it just dies out. Oh, there it is. I see the trail marker. That's a yellow trail marker. I see it, but I don't see the trail very well anymore. And it really looks like it goes straight towards the house again. Yeah. Okay. So I guess these are the hidden trails then. I found them. There really wasn't much to see or to find here. They just kind of extend the main trail at Olivia's Forest and goes a little bit deeper and borders on the homes. I mean, this is cool, this rocky area, but besides that, I don't think that there's much worth it. I'm just getting bugs in my eyes now. That's how bad it is over here. So let's turn back and let's do Georgiaville Pond to finish this off. So yeah, that was really interesting. I did end up finally finding that legendary yellow trail, the lost trail of Olivia's Forest. It really wasn't anything crazy. I still would suggest if you come here to hike, stay on the main path and do the loop all the way around. But it was still cool to find and see where they went. They all just went to people's condos, it looked like. Right now I'm going to finish up these trails and we're going to go to Georgiaville Pond to finish. And it'll be a good lesson here. I mean, show you no matter how overgrown and tough these trails are, it's going to lead to somewhere that's open and beautiful like the pond. So same thing with life. No matter how tough and overgrown things seem like they are, if you just stay on the path and keep following it, it could end up to the paradise, which in this case will be the pond for us. So let's keep walking the trail and I'll see you guys at Georgiaville Pond. We made it to the pond now. Look how beautiful it looks today. I think the water level is going to be pretty low actually though, because everywhere else seems like it's been really dry. Alright, so the plan is here today is I'm going to stay out of the woods now just because the bugs have been so bad today, and even I'm outside of the woods right now and they're still flying around a bit, so I'm not going to go in here. I've already filmed that. I'm just going to sit down by the pond and soak all the afternoon sun up now until it's time to go. I think that we are going to get some pretty crazy rain this afternoon, I was hearing, so we'll see how it works out this evening. Looks like the other path to get down in the woods is over there. And there's another one up that way too. All right, I'll sit down here. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm soaking in some good sun, gonna have some water, and then I'm gonna go back and hang out with Izzy the cat. We're gonna just chill and edit for the rest of the afternoon, but I wanted to leave this video off with one more Buddhist proverb or quote, whatever you want to say. But apparently the Buddha did say, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. And that basically means, like, the snake doesn't shed its skin because it wants to. It sheds its skin because it has to. If a snake doesn't shed its skin, it can't grow. It can't become something better. Earlier things that we talked about with mistakes and regret, the longer you hold on to those for, the more it's going to hold you back. So if there's something that's bothering you, you just got to accept it's the reality and let go. And eventually you'll get out, you'll shed that past reality and grow into something new. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. As a recap, we did the Esmond Park Conservation Area, Woonasquatucket Railroad Trails. We checked out my buddy Lewis at Apple Valley Minerals. We did the Lost Trails of Olivia's Forest, and now we're here, ending at Georgiaville Pond. So it was a pretty epic hike. It took me about 4 hours to do all this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next hike or episode of Hidden Northeast or Buddhist teaching episode. Whatever we do, we're gonna do it. Thanks a lot, guys, and stay tuned.